You're just a kid.
Mr. Mayor, it is 9 a.m. and the live stream has commenced. We are being joined by Councillor Kerr via Zoom this morning. He is having some audio issues, but our IT team is reaching out to him to correct those. Otherwise, we are good to go.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Good morning, Council, members of SLT, resident. See that we do have quorum for this meeting, regular council meeting for April the 8th. I will call it into session. And first up is the national anthem. We ask all those that may to please rise.
It is unmuted. Hi, Mike. Good. I'm unmuted. I could hear earlier, but now I can't hear. I can't hear anything. Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you, and we apologize for the technical difficulties. Next up is land recognition statement, and this week I will ask Councillor Wink to please read it aloud.
Thank you, Mayor. The town of Pelham is situated on treaty land steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hattawandurunk, Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island live and work in Niagara. The town of Pelham stands in solidarity with all Indigenous peoples, past and present, acknowledging that our high standard of living is a result of the resources and lasting friendship of Indigenous people.
Thank you, Councillor Wink. I now turn to the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings us to the approval of the agenda, and I have a motion put forward by Councillor Wink, seconded by Councillor Hildebrand. Be it resolved that the agenda for the April 8th, 2026 regular meeting of council be adopted as circulated. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on the agenda? Not seeing any. Put it to the vote. All those in favor? I see none opposed. Motion carries. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. That brings you to disclosure of pecuniary interests.
Thank you. After viewing the agenda, does any council member have a pecuniary interest to declare? Not seeing any, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings us to the adoption of council minutes, and I have a motion put forward by Deputy Mayor Eckert, seconded by Councillor Niznik. Be it resolved that the following minutes be adopted as printed, circulated, and read. CO6 2026 regular meeting of council from March 25th, 2026. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, omissions to be pointed out with these minutes? Not seeing any. Call the vote. All those in favor? See none opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings you to item 7, and if there are any items that council would like to lift from the consent agenda, now would be the time.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hildebrand.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to lift item 8.4.2, Niagara Transit Fleet Electrification Roadmap.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Any other councillor have an agenda item they would like to lift? Not seeing any. Madam Clerk.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We will consider item 8.4.2 later on in the agenda, and that brings us to the consent agenda. And if you would like to move through it through categories, we can begin with staff reports.
Okay, thank you. Anyone want to discuss or have questions for the first group, 8.21 to 8.24 staff reports? Not, Deputy Mayor Eckert.
Yes, I'm just trying to find it on my, are we in 8.2 or can I comment on 8.3?
We're actually at 8.2 yet.
I'll wait, thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any, Councilor Nesnick?
Yes, thank you. Just a question, if we could just have some verbal clarification with regards to the update on Quaker Road reconstruction project. Seems to be the never-ending project. I think I do see Director Marr, so through you, Mr. Mayor, maybe he can answer exactly what the problem was.
Thank you. To the Director of Public Works, Mr. Moore, please. Did you hear that question, Jason?
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we're good.
Perfect. Yeah, so as part of the Quaker Road reconstruction project, which is it's a regional project, the soils reports that were used as part of the design indicated that native backfill could be used as part of the project. So basically backfilling the pipes that they were putting in the ground with the native material. That material turned out to be unsuitable, and as such, it needs to be removed and replaced. So the work started at Rice Road and worked its way towards the west. They identified the settlement concerns. There's a short section in Pelham that they used some native backfill, but it's a very short section. And then they switched over to all granular backfill. So from our perspective, we're monitoring the installations in Pelham. We're not, at this point, we're not concerned that there will be any settlements, but again, we are monitoring to make sure that there's none. If so, there will be rectification needed on our portion of the work, but most of the work that's being rectified is in the Welland borders between Rice Road and Line Avenue. So it was unsuitable soil that was used for backfill, and that's the reason that they have to do the rework.
Councilor?
Yeah, thank you. So just, again, another unfortunate project that has turned into a disaster for residents on that street. And now, as I read it, it says won't be completed until late fall of 2026. So there's a business on the corner there that has, I'm sure, suffered dramatically due to the problem with this road. So I'm just like, is it, so I guess it was the regional engineers that mistakenly used the wrong fill in the project?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to answer the councilor's question, to be clear, it's a regional contract. They hired the consultants, the engineers to do the work for them. The town contributed to the design with respect to what our scope of work was, but the region was in control of the design. So to answer your question, yes, it's a regional project, regional concern, and if there's businesses that have some concerns, that they would contact the region directly.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I guess just a question maybe to the mayor then as our regional representative. So how is this being dealt with at the region level because of the conundrum that's been caused here?
Great question. Believe me, the members at Regional Council are very disappointed that this is an ongoing issue. There is, I'll just make a general statement, that there appears to be a legal situation that's going to evolve from this, and I'll just let it go at that. But it's just, it is what it is, and it's unfortunate it happened, but that supposedly with the use of that stone, the road is going to continue to settle. Pipes will lose their grade, and it apparently is something that does indeed have to be revisited.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, I just, not only legally, maybe something going to be happening with regards, but I think some heads should roll because engineers are responsible for those and they should know how to build roads by this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Any other questions on items? Deputy Mayor Eckert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I forgot I did have one question, and I'm not sure if it would be to Ryan in spite of his new position, or it may go to Director Marr, but the spongy moth report, it looks like we're way ahead of this problem in this area. So last year we did the kind of spot spraying on the ground. So we're not even doing that this year. And do we continue to monitor it throughout the year? Where are we there?
Mr. Cook, please.
Yeah, through the mayor. I don't want to say we're out in front of the issue. I think the spongy moth is always going to be around. That invasive species is kind of pervasive. We can monitor. We need to continue to monitor, but we can really just intervene when it becomes a problem. So monitoring is kind of done throughout the year. You're correct. Some of that is just through spot checking. You can pick up spongy moth infestation just through regular road patrols. It stains the road, so it's really easy to determine whether you have an issue or not. Last year we did do an aerial spray of Hillcrest Park. There was it appeared that there was going to be a population increase in that area, so we knocked that down last year. But I think overall, over the last, because we've been doing this for a long time, but the efforts of the town and staff and everything has really contributed to that. There's also weather and natural reasons for the decline, so don't want to take all the credit, but because next year could be completely different. But it is something that we need to continue monitoring for, and that'll continue going.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any other questions on staff reports? Not seeing any, Madam Clerk?
Kevin.
Oh, I'm sorry. Councillor Kerr.
Good morning. Glad to make it. Quick question. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. It was a very small question, and it was relative to 8.2.1 and 8.2.2. When there's appeals filed, are the people who filed the appeals publicly known? Is this available in general knowledge to the public as to who has appealed?
To our legal, Ms. Turton?
Through you, Mayor, yes. Ontario Land Tribunal matters are public proceedings.
Councillor? Oh,
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear. And I have another question, but I think Councillor Eckert was going to ask, and it's more to do with 8.3.1.
okay. We'll wait till we move down to that, which will be right now.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, our next category would be information correspondence.
Okay, so Deputy Mayor Eckert?
Yes, thank you. 8.3.1 is not a question to anybody. I've spoken to relevant people involved, and there's no reason for them to respond to this. But when I read this correspondence, I had a different interpretation as to what we've done with the legal notwithstanding. And at the last meeting, I did ask a question about legal notwithstanding, and we had an excellent presentation as to what that meant. And I thought that Ms. Tucker was perhaps having a different opinion of what could happen, and I just wanted to be sure, so I've asked, and surprisingly, my interpretation is correct, and I believe she is mistaken in her appreciation or her interpretation of it. So the things that she's worried about in there, I don't believe will happen. So I don't know if anybody's responded to this lady, but I would be happy to respond to her to allay her fears. And I just wanted to be out in the public that this is not something that we are worried about happening in the future. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any other comments? Not only on that item, of course, but on the information correspondence. Councillor Kerr.
Yeah, just following up with Councillor Eckert, and I'm sure it goes backwards, I think, publicly. Legal nonconforming has always existed. I think it's erroneous to think that it hasn't existed, and that I guess I'm interpreting as now we're just formally embedding the wording into the bylaw per se to allow that. That was my interpretation of what was going on. It was a person not understanding about the whole legal background of legal nonconforming.
All right, thank you, Counselor. Excellent. The only other question, if I could have, is 8.3.2, and this never-ending evolvement of the development charges, and of course now it's reached the as it always is in the political realm. Any comments from our Director of Planning, Ms. Drusling, about I believe it was in the millions or billions that they're, I don't, have they laid out any plans yet how that's going to be distributed or how it's going to affect the town going forward?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we do have a report coming to next council meeting on Bill 98, so hopefully all your questions will be answered within that report. Staff are still trying to funnel our way through the bill as well.
Okay, excellent. Like I say, changes, if not weekly, at least monthly, it would appear. Thank you. To the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And our last category would be regional correspondence.
Excellent. Other than the 8.42 that Council Hildebrand has raised, pulled, is there any other questions on 8.41 or any other items? Not seeing any, Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If there's no further discussion, I have a motion put forward by Councillor Bernarski, seconded by Councillor Kerr. Be it resolved that the consent agenda items as listed on the April 8th, 2026 council agenda be received and the recommendations contained therein be approved, save and accept item 8.4.2. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Without any, if there's no further discussion, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? See none opposed. Motion carries. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings us to our lifted item this morning, 8.4.2 by Councillor Hildebrand.
Okay, Councilor Hildebrand?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make an amendment to the motion presented, and that council requests the Niagara Transit Commission to provide fulsome details regarding the hydrogen bus pilot program commencing August 2026, including cost, infrastructure requirements, operational impacts, environmental consideration, and evaluation metrics by May the 15th, 2026.
Okay, thank you. And you have a seconder?
Yes?
Well, it's Councilor Kerr.
Kerr is raising his hand.
Yes, okay, and as a seconder, Councilor Kerr, any comments?
I fully support this. As I read through the document as well, I have many more questions regarding the hydrogen diesel component pilot project, the economics, as well as the infrastructure. So I'd like to see more upon which their decisions have been based.
Okay, thank you. I'll now open it up to all of, Councilor Hildebrand.
Yes, I'd like to make a very detailed presentation of why I'm requesting this information. Obviously, the report provided by the consultant was 92 pages with a 13-page summary. So there was a lot of data, but most of the data referred to the electrification part of the program, which said it would take 50 years to pay back electrification of buses, diesel buses. The second part, which is very limited, which is almost in the summary report, is a one-page summary by the consultant, which provides very little information with regards to hydrogen diesel conversion pilot project. The project involves converting 2014 diesel buses into diesel hybrid vehicles. According to our Niagara Transit rep, it will involve 8 buses and infrastructure to support the operation. The estimated Niagara Transit contribution to the pilot is approximately $2.4 million in combined capital and operating costs between 2026 and March 2029. According to the pilot, this enables Niagara Transit to leverage external funding, extend the useful life of the existing fleet buses that are being converted to avoid a near-term capital replacement pressures that they have. In general, I just reviewed the cost of buses, new buses. A new diesel bus is approximately $800,000. A diesel electric bus is $1.5 million, and a diesel hydrogen bus is approximately $2 million. The only operating cost experience I could find was from BC, and they're saying that diesel hydrogen buses are twice the operating cost per kilometer as opposed to a diesel bus. Now I'd like to talk about infrastructure. Setting up hydrogen refueling stations is a complex infrastructure project involving highly specialized equipment, rigorous safety protocols, and high capital investment. The estimated cost is from $1 million to $4 million, and they're estimating for large vehicles, the average cost of a filling station is $1.9 million alone. The utility connect part of infrastructure is significant underground electrical work and high-capacity electrical services needed for the compressors and the chillers. The compressors for diesel hydrogen buses are required to raise the pressure for large vehicles up to 350 bar, which is 5,076.321 pounds per square inch. So you're compressing this to a lot, and then you're having to have a chiller to cool the hydrogen, to pre-cool it to minus 40 degrees C before entering the vehicle for safe charging. So there's very sophisticated, plus hydrogen is very flammable. I researched a couple other pilot projects that municipalities have done. In 2025, Halifax had a budget of $490,000 just for the conversion cost of 4 buses to hydrogen diesel bus. So if we're doing 8 buses, if we're prorating that over, that's basically just the conversion cost is $1 million. Milton did a different pilot project. They converted the diesel bus to an EV, and that cost them $800,000 last year. That included a charging station and converting the bus to an EV bus, and that's on the road right now. So that's the background, and that's why I'm asking for a more detailed report, because I'm concerned that the $2.4 million is an optimistic estimate by the consultant when I review these costs that people have incurred. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Councillor Kerr, do you any further comments?
Yes, I guess my query, and I appreciate Councillor Hildebrand's in-depth review. I found the same thing, 92 pages, but very small, small amount on the pilot project in that report. And I looked at the slide on the costs and the increase and talking about 66%. My question comes back to if they're going to retrofit buses past their useful life. My question is, if the bus is past its useful life, how does a retrofit suddenly make it useful again? The question being, why, if it's strictly to do with the engine, then that comes back to just, you could replace with diesel at a far less cost. So I'm not sure how this is suddenly making, I don't know the parameters of what takes a bus out of useful life and why they have to consider it be replaced. That's my only thing, is that we're refurbishing what is classified as a no longer useful used vehicle. And does that make the most sense to do at this particular time? So that's why I wanted to see more information. I just don't know enough of the background to it. If it's the physical structure of the bus combined with its energy source makes it no longer useful. To me, that's, are we dressing up something that's going to physically wear out faster than we anticipate? That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Kerr. Any other comments, questions on this motion? Oh, Councillor Wink.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. When I read the report, I thought that there was a big lack of detail on financing on this. And at this point in time, with all the concerns around the region and their spending and whatever, now we're looking at a project that's going to increase spending enormously, not a little bit, a lot, and it's going to be on the taxpayers' back. And there's nothing in here that says how that's going to be apportioned, because ultimately everyone in this room and everyone listening into this are going to be paying for this big time. And I would hope that our regional council asks very pointed questions on this, because this is going to be a big tax hit, and the taxpayers aren't up for further tax when we're you got to set priorities, and what's one of the biggest priorities the region has right now is water and wastewater, and a $640 million hit. Let's get that right first before we start doing other things such as enhancing transit. Transit was handed to the region, and now it's their new toy, and they want to enhance that new toy. And I'm sorry, there's got to be pointed questions asked about this. And I hope, Mayor, as our representative on regional council, you'll be asking pointed questions on this. And quite frankly, I wouldn't support this.
All right, thank you, Councillor. Any other questions or comments? Not seeing any. I'll call the vote on the motion. All those in favor? And none opposed. I take it, Councillor Kerr, you have a puzzled look.
Do we not have an amendment to the motion?
I'm sorry.
And that's what we would be voting on?
Oh, is that?
No, through you, Mr. Mayor. Because the item was lifted, there was no motion on the floor, so it's not an amendment. It is an independent motion.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, and so that was a legal vote.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Motion carries, and thank Councillor Hildebrand and Councillor Kerr for bringing it forward. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings us to staff reports requiring action, and our first item is 10.2.1, Council Vacancy Policy Update. And I have a motion moved by Councillor Wink, seconded by Councillor Kerr. Be it resolved that Council receive report 2026-0082 for information, and that Council approve the amended Council Vacancy Policy S201-22 as appended to this report. To Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments or question on this report? Not seeing any. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? And I see none opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings you to item 13. And I have a motion moved by Councillor Wink, seconded by Councillor Kerr. Be it resolved that the following be read a first, second, third time and passed. Number 1, Bylaw 19-2026, being a bylaw to amend 4481-2022 to regulate the use of additional residential units in the town of Pelham. 20-2026, being a bylaw to delegate authority to the CAO for certain officers for certain acts during the restricted acts period. And 21-2026 to set the rate of taxation for 2026. To Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions, comments on any of these bylaws? Not seeing any. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? I see none opposed. Motion carries. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings you to item 15, resolution to move in camera. And I have a motion moved by Councillor Brunarski, seconded by Councillor Niznik. Be resolved that Council resolve into closed session to consider the following matters. 1, item closed session report 2026-0054, potential acquisition of land for municipal purposes, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality as per section 239(2)(c) of the Municipal Act. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? If not, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? I see none opposed. We will be moving in camera.